So you just saw the brawl, the hard foul, the benches clearing, the ejections, and if you believe the headlines, that's the whole story. The WNBA fined Sophie Cunningham $400 for that foul, and everyone moved on. But that's not the story. Not even close. Many of you watching have been connecting these same dots for weeks, and you were onto something. Because that $400 piece of paper wasn't a punishment, it was a lottery ticket. And it just exposed a $50 million lie that the WNBA has been desperately trying to hide. This isn't a story about a hard foul. It's a story about a broken financial system. A system where a single player can get richer breaking the rules than the league does making them. And it reveals a truth so dangerous it threatens to burn the entire league to the ground. We are going to break down the entire money trail, and if you respect the hustle of exposing the truth, show us we're on the right track and hit that like button. It helps us stay in the fight. To understand the lie, you first have to understand the bet. Let's set the scene. June 17th, 2025. The Indiana Fever are blowing out the Connecticut Sun, leading 88-71 in the final minute. The game is over, but that's when the message sending started. Sun guard Jacy Sheldon, a longtime rival of Caitlin Clark from her college days, pokes Clark in the eye. Then, during the scrum, another Sun guard, Marina Mabrey, shoves Clark to the floor. The officials hand out technicals and a flagrant one to Sheldon, but here's the key. Mabrey stays in the game. For the Fever and for Sophie Cunningham, a line had been crossed. The officials had lost control, creating what the insiders call a vacuum of authority. So, with 46 seconds left on the clock, Cunningham decided to fill it. She delivered a hard, intentional foul on Jacy Sheldon, wrapping her up and pulling her to the ground in a clear act of retaliation. The benches cleared, and Cunningham was ejected. The league office followed up, fining her $400 for the flagrant 2 foul. Now, here's where the math gets insane. That $400 bet triggered the single greatest payday in WNBA history. In the 48 hours that followed the game, Sophie Cunningham's personal brand exploded. Her TikTok following surged from around 400,000 to 1.2 million. Her Instagram gained 350,000 followers. Her number 8 Fever jersey completely sold out on Fanatics. One marketing agency estimated that just acquiring that many followers would cost a normal brand over $1 million. Sophie Cunningham converted a $400 fine into a 7-figure branding victory in less than 2 days. She became a hero, an icon, the enforcer who was willing to protect the league's biggest star when the league itself wasn't. But while Cunningham was laughing all the way to the bank, the league that fined her was drowning in red ink. And this is where we get to the lie, the $50 million lie. While Sophie Cunningham was building a personal empire off a single foul, the league that created the game was hemorrhaging cash. Despite 2024 being the most watched, most talked about season in WNBA history, multiple reports confirmed the league still lost between $40 and $50 million. Let that sink in. The league is putting more eyeballs on its product than ever before, and it is still losing a catastrophic amount of money. So you have to ask yourself, how is that even possible? The answer is a paradox, and her name is Caitlin Clark. Let's be brutally honest and filter out the noise. The narrative that the WNBA's growth is fueled by the entire 2024 rookie class or some league-wide talent boom is, according to the data, a media fabrication. The numbers don't lie. In 2024, viewership on ESPN platforms shot up 170%. Of the 21 games that pulled in over 1 million viewers, an incredible 18 of them featured Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever. When she missed 5 games in June of 2025 with an injury, the league's national TV viewership didn't just dip, it plummeted by 55%. She is not just part of the success story. For all intents and purposes, she is the success story. So, the league's most valuable asset, the woman driving its entire business, the golden goose laying golden eggs, must be the highest paid player in the league by a mile, right? Well, this is where the system's dirty secret is exposed. For the 2025 season, Caitlin Clark's official WNBA salary is $78,066. You heard that correctly. The enforcer who protected her, Sophie Cunningham, makes a WNBA salary of $100,000. The woman who just turned a fine into $1 million brand is paid more by the league than the superstar she was protecting. Meanwhile, Clark's off-court deals, like her landmark 8-year, $28 million contract with Nike, show her true market value. The league is getting a billion-dollar talent for the price of an entry-level office job. Does a system where Sophie Cunningham earns more from the league than Caitlin Clark make any sense to you? Let me know your honest reaction to that in the comments below. This isn't just a pay gap, it's a reality distortion field. And it's created a bizarre new environment where the rules of success have been completely rewritten. Okay, for all the narrative analysts watching, this is where we really start connecting the dots, because what that salary disconnect proves is that the WNBA is no longer operating under the old rules of sports economics. We are witnessing the birth of a brand new and incredibly volatile financial model. Let's call it narrative-driven value. In this new economy, a player's marketability isn't tied to their stats. It's tied to their role within what we're calling the Caitlin Clark cinematic universe. Proximity to the main character, Caitlin Clark, and active participation in her ongoing story, whether you play the hero, the villain, or the protector, is now the fastest way to build a brand and get paid. And Sophie Cunningham is the ultimate case study. Let's look at the numbers on the court, not just on the bank statement. For the 2025 season, Sophie Cunningham is a solid role player, averaging about 5 points and 4 rebounds per game. Those are not superstar numbers, but her value isn't calculated in points anymore. By performing a single, highly visible act of enforcement on behalf of the story's protagonist, her entire brand value was recalculated in real time. Suddenly, her gritty play style and her Spicy Sophie nickname weren't just character traits, they were core assets. Even her personal history, like the fact she earned a black belt in Taekwondo at age 6, was weaponized by the media to add credibility to her new persona as the ultimate enforcer. Her statistical output became irrelevant. Her narrative contribution became everything. She, whether she intended to or not, created the playbook for a new gold rush. It's a playbook that shows other players how to game the system, how to leverage the outrage and drama surrounding Clark for massive personal gain. And it's created a crisis for the league, because how do you police a game when the players have figured out that breaking the rules is far more profitable than following them? It has forced the league into a corner, and its most respected leaders are starting to show the cracks. This new reality isn't just confusing for us analysts, it has ignited a civil war among the league's own leadership. The coaches are now fighting a war of words in the media, and it exposes just how deep this crisis runs. On one side, you have the Indiana Fever's head coach, Stephanie White. She didn't just accept her players' actions, she celebrated them. She fully endorsed Cunningham's role as the team's tough-as-nails X Factor.
Oh my God, Sophie's a dog. She just is, she's a competitor. She's versatile, so she allows us to do different things. Like, she plays with such a toughness. She's huge, and she's going to be for us all season long.
But on the other side of the battle line, you have the Connecticut Sun's head coach, Rachid Meziane. He saw the exact same event and called it a complete disgrace, labeling Cunningham's foul stupid and disrespectful. He argued that winning by 17 points and pulling a stunt like that was classless and unsportsmanlike. So you have two coaches, two completely opposite interpretations. But the most important voice in all of this might belong to a coach who wasn't even on the court that night. Las Vegas Aces coach and respected basketball mind Becky Hammon. She stepped forward and validated the frustration of every player in the league. She said, quote, "There's too much bumping, too much grabbing, too much fouling that's not getting called, and people are tired of getting hit. This is what happens." That is a direct shot at the league office. Hammon is confirming that the institution of officiating has failed, and that players are now taking matters into their own hands because the system has left them no other choice. She's not defending the foul itself, she's explaining the systemic breakdown that made the foul inevitable. This isn't just a player problem, it's a league problem. Who do you think is right in this war of words? Are you with Coach White's loyalty, Coach Meziane's call for sportsmanship, or Coach Hammon's critique of a broken system? Cast your vote in the comments. This division has put the WNBA in a strategically impossible position, forcing it to make a choice that could determine its very future. That division has left the WNBA paralyzed, caught between two disastrous choices. The first is the laissez-faire entertainment model. The argument here is that the drama is actually good for business. The controversy surrounding Clark generates endless media coverage, engagement, and interest. It creates heroes and villains that sell tickets. In this model, the league might quietly let the enforcer narrative run wild because it's fueling the fire of their growth. But the second path is the asset protection model. This is about long-term survival, because what happens if the league's single most valuable asset, Caitlin Clark, suffers a serious injury from one of these physical plays? We already have a terrifying preview. The 55% viewership crash when she was out for just 5 games proved that her absence would trigger a financial catastrophe. This model demands the league get serious, levy harsh suspensions, and protect its golden goose at all costs. Faced with this impossible choice, what did the league do? They blinked. They upgraded Marina Mabrey's foul after review, but gave Sophie Cunningham a fine that amounts to pocket change, and crucially, suspended absolutely no one. It was an act of weakness, an attempt to please everyone that ultimately satisfied no one. It wasn't a solution. It was a signal that the league has no idea how to solve its own biggest problem. The Sophie Cunningham incident wasn't just a foul that exposed a financial lie. It was a symptom of a league that has lost control of its own value system. It revealed a broken economic model where players have now discovered a dangerous new playbook. They can get rich far faster by creating drama around a superstar than the league can by building a sport. By failing to bring down the hammer, the WNBA has not just allowed this to happen, it has incentivized it. It has proven that in the new WNBA, the crime pays, and it pays well. This has lit the fuse on a ticking time bomb, and the next player to follow this playbook could be the one who finally makes it detonate. So, what's your take on all this? In the comments below, I want to know your theory. Is Sophie Cunningham a genius who simply outsmarted a broken system? Or is this new, narrative-driven model of player branding going to be the thing that ultimately destroys the WNBA? And if you believe that the story behind the story is the only one that truly matters, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an investigation. Finally, if you know someone who needs to understand the real economic game being played behind the curtain of the WNBA, share this video.